Starting chapter number 2, support and movement. This chapter is important because it explains how the body supports you and how the body moves or locomotes. So the first is support. As the living organisms grow in size, they need support to maintain their shape and their posture. So support is the ability of the living organisms which keeps it in the equilibrium state and maintains their shape. Support in animals is provided by the skeletal system, while in plants it is supported by the tissues like collenchyma, sclerenchyma, and parenchyma. And in smaller animals, it is also due to the turgidity in small cells. What is movement? Living organisms mostly respond to stimuli by showing some kind of locomotion or movement. So, movement is a response shown by the organism towards the stimuli, or it can be defined as it is the action taken by the living organism to reduce its irritability. Irritability is the change in environment which irritates the organism, and in response to this irritability, living organism takes place some actions, and these actions are called movement. And if this movement result in the change in location of the organism, this is called locomotion. So movement is due to the response towards the stimuli, while locomotion is due to the change in location of the organism. Movement can take place at cellular level like cyclosis and movement of the gametes. Cyclosis is the movement of cytoplasm inside the cell, while movement of gametes takes place inside the reproductive organs. Movement can take place also at the organ level like heart and the limb movements. In plants, movement can take place at the cellular and organ level both because plants are usually sessile and they respond by changing in growth pattern and development, while in animals, animals are usually motile because they mainly respond by behavioral mechanisms. After discussing basic definitions, now we will discuss the topic of support and movement in animals. We will discuss first support in animals, then we discuss movement in animals. So, support in animals is provided by three types of skeleton. The first is exoskeleton, the second is endoskeleton, and the third is hydroskeleton. So, exoskeleton is hard, non-living, and it is present outside of the body, so it is external covering. And exoskeleton is secreted by outer epidermal layer, that is the epithelial lining of the animals which is present outside the space of the body, and it is made up of different materials in different phylums like in mollusca it is made up of calcium carbonate and it is present in the form of shells. It helps in protection and support but not in locomotion. So this is the figure of a mollusca. It is a snail and you can see that this is a big shell present here made up of calcium carbonate. In arthropods, it is made up of cuticle. Cuticle is made up of chitin, which is a mixture of carbohydrates and proteins. Also, exoskeleton contains flexible joints which help in the locomotion. And exoskeleton arthropods protects, gives shape, and help in locomotion by providing attachment for the muscles. So, it is the most complex type of exoskeleton present in arthropods. This is the figure of an arthropod, an insect, and it has exoskeleton made up of chitin. This is the figure showing a fighter is fighting with a crab with a sword, and fighter is wearing an armor and questioning that what manner of armor is this. So this is the exoskeleton which is present outside of the body and it is hard and non-living. So the crab is using its exoskeleton instead of the sword. In diatoms, exoskeleton is made up of silica. Molting or ecdysis, it is a phenomena in which arthropods shed their exoskeleton because exoskeleton is non-living and it hinders the growth of the animal because it does not grow with the size of animals. So they shed their exoskeleton, grow in size, and then again they form the exoskeleton outside their bodies. So exoskeleton limits the size of the arthropods because it does not grow with the size of the animals because it is non-living. Therefore, the arthropods regular shedding of the exoskeleton takes place with increase in the size of animal, and this phenomenon is called molting. This figure is showing the phenomena of molting, in which the arthropod is shedding its exoskeleton, which is present here. This is the exoskeleton, and this is the phenomena of molting. The second type of skeleton is endoskeleton, and it is present inside the body of organisms as compared to the exoskeleton, which is present outside the body of organisms. Endoskeleton is formed by mesoderm during development, while exoskeleton is secreted by the epidermal layer. Endoskeleton is living in nature, while exoskeleton is non-living in nature. And endoskeleton grows with the size of animal as compared to the exoskeleton, which does not grow with the size of animal. As in endoskeleton it grows with the size of animal, so does not restrict body movements, so the phenomena of molting is also absent. The functions of endoskeleton is to provide support, protection, shape and locomotion to the organisms. Example, in invertebrates like sponges have spicules, and in starfishes they have calcareous plates, while all vertebrates have endoskeleton, that is the bones and cartilage. The third type of skeleton is hydroskeleton. Hydro means water and skeleton means the body framework. So hydroskeleton consists of fluid filled body cavity called coelom, and it has some muscles called circular and longitudinal muscles. This fluid filled cavity creates a hydrostatic pressure which acts as a hydrostatic skeleton in their bodies. Because hydroskeleton has no hard structures, so it is the simplest type of skeleton known. This is the figure showing locomotion in earthworm, because earthworm has hydroskeleton, and it has two types of muscles. The first is circular muscle and the second is longitudinal muscle. When the circular muscles contracted, the body becomes long and stiff, while when the longitudinal muscles contracted, the body becomes short and thick. So in hydroskeleton, when circular muscles contracted, body becomes long and stiff. When longitudinal muscles contracted, body becomes short and thick.